Hello everyone and welcome back to week 14 of the Cartoon Football League. We are just tasting the playoffs now with just a few weeks to go. Surprisingly, no team clinched a playoff spot last week. We'll see if that changes this week. I know for a fact there are some clinching scenarios at stake this week. Haven't decided yet what format I'm going to do for the playoffs because I know these we kind of do quick simulations, so maybe I'll watch the entire fourth quarter or something, but let me know in the comments what you'd like to see for the playoffs because we probably won't go as fast as we do in these regular season games. Anyway, we're kicking things off with 2 5-7 teams on Thursday Night Football, each of them in desperation mode. Pretty much need to win out to have any chance of making the playoffs, so let's see what happens here. Alright, so after a goal line rush by Barney, the Flintstones go up by 7. Scooby-Doo in another one of these tough situations, down 7 late. We'll see if Scooby and company can put something together here. Scooby on second and just one, looks for an open man, finds Velma wide open. Velma with the juke, there she goes. Can she make it to the end zone? It's gonna be close. She gets to the 5 and taken down. Set for receivers. Scooby, it's a 3rd and goal, needs to throw it. Finds driver for the touchdown. Scooby-Doo with the elite comeback drive, keeping the playoff hopes alive for both teams. Still lots of time left in this game, but a nice drive from Scooby-Doo to tie this thing up. Looks like they're gonna run it here. They will. Barney is stuffed immediately, and now really poor play calling from the Flintstones gonna give Scooby-Doo a chance. Velma on the punt return, and she had the big catch on the drive and a nice return. MVP of the game so far at the 45-yard line, so we will definitely see some aggression. It seems like if teams get past the 30 with just over 40 seconds left, they will be aggressive, but they usually run it if they don't get past the 30. Scooby wide open deep! Oh, out of bounds. It was Hines Ward. 2nd and 10 for Scooby-Doo. Looks like the same play. This time it goes to Driver, who scored the touchdown, and Driver with a couple moves to get to the 36. Great field position for Scooby-Doo. Looks like they're going to run it as well with a power formation. Scrappy-Doo with a nice run. They're not going to need to kick a field goal, I don't think. It's a touchdown. What a comeback by Scooby-Doo tonight. I know neither of these teams are probably going to make the playoffs, but this is the type of game that gives you the momentum to go on a winning streak and have one last surge of hope. On 3rd down today, but this is likely the last play of the game with 6 seconds left. Can Fred pull off a miracle? He drops back, throws into coverage, knocked away. Flintstones playoff hopes likely over, but Scooby-Doo hope remains. They improved to 6-7. We'll see what they do these last few weeks. Next matchup, probably another one that doesn't mean much. 5-7 Airbenders taking on 3-9 SpongeBob. We'll just take a peek here and see what happens. Alright, so the Airbenders in a similar situation that Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones were. They're 5-7, so kind of just desperately fighting for their lives. But SpongeBob, team with nothing to play for, can always be one of those dangerous teams when you have nothing to play for, and they are marching with 47 seconds left to go, down 4. Mr. Krabs just had a big completion. You saw another one there from Squidward. It's 2nd and 5, and SpongeBob, the leading passer in the NFL despite their terrible record. Bob's 2nd and goal from the 7. Sacked. Big play by the Airbenders. Can they keep their playoff hopes alive here? Not going to take a timeout. Questionable decision there. 7 seconds left. Throws. It's Squidward. He's taken down. Why are they not taking a timeout? There's only 2 seconds left on the clock. I guess they don't care. And yeah, SpongeBob doesn't care at all. The Airbenders keep their playoff hopes alive. Interesting decisions there from SpongeBob. Alright, next matchup. One that actually really matters so far. The other two are kind of like long shots to make the playoffs, but this one gonna have big implications. 6-6 Phineas and Ferb taking on 7-5 BoJack Horseman. I think these teams are in the same division, not 100% positive, but regardless, an important game, so let's see what happens. Phineas and Ferb up 12-7. Kind of crazy how they got 12 points. They missed an extra point, went for 2 to make it 14-7, then missed that too, so they're stuck at 12. BoJack Horseman trying to complete a comeback drive. Obviously, they score a touchdown. No matter what, they take the lead. But if they do, then I'm sure they'll try their own 2-point conversion. But few weeks. They started out very rough, and Bojack finds Todd Chavez. Big gain across the middle, tackled at the 42. Great play by Bojack Horseman. Takes the huddle and snaps it in shotgun, corner blitz, and wide open. It leaves Greg Jennings. Easy touchdown for Bojack Horseman, and just blown coverages all around by Phineas and Ferb. It's time to go down and kick a field goal. We'll see what happens here. Bojack looks, fires, probably should have been caught, thrown a little bit over the head of, I believe that was Todd, and a really big miss, so that gives Phineas and Ferb a chance to kick a field goal and end this game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your ball game. Let's see what happens here. It's 4th down as well. Doesn't matter though. Phineas is sacked once again. Bojack Horseman holds on to win by 1 point in crazy fashion, and that may dash Phineas and Ferb's playoff hopes. Alright, 5-7, Sesame Street taking on the 10-2 Backyardigans. They are the team I was referring to when I said they can clinch if they win. They beat Dora twice. Best Dora can finish is 11-5, so automatically puts them in first place in their division if they win this one. Alright, so the Backyardigans were up 17-7 in this one. Sesame Street got the ball back with a little bit of time. They have a chance here to get in field goal range, but they have to develop this play really, really quick. We'll see if they can make something happen here. And I think Big Bird waited too long. Going to be a sack actually, and they're going to have to get a touchdown, just like we saw in the last game. Backyardigans 2 seconds away from being the first Cartoon Football League team to clinch a division. Can they make it happen? We'll find out right here as Big Bird's under center. He takes the snap, drops back, looks for an open man, he's sacked again. The Backyardigans, congratulations. They are the first team in the Cartoon Football League to win their division. Alright, next matchup, a team we were just talking about, Dora. 7-5 playoff team, most likely taking on 4-8 Ed and Nettie. Alright, so Dora in danger of dropping another one. They had that heartbreaking loss to the Backyardigans last week, but have a chance here to win this one, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Wide open is Hines Ward. Dora, she's such a gunslinger in this league, immediately in field goal range already. Great throw and catch from Dora to Hines Ward. We'll see what they do here. Ed and Nettie putting up a good fight. They've been putting up good fights the last couple weeks, despite being one of the bottom feeders in the league. Incompletion here. It'll be 2nd down. Definitely not close enough to attempt a field goal yet. 4th 5. They're going to have to kick the field goal from the 36-yard line. 5 seconds to go. It's close, and it is good. Dora. It looks like there's 1 second left on the clock, so I'm not going to say they get the win yet, but it's looking like Dora is going to pull off the comeback here. Great drive by Dora. Great drive by all the receivers. And a great job by Backpack as well. Eddie picks this one up, taken down immediately. Dora with a great, gritty win against Ed and Nettie. Next matchup, another game that has some semblance of playoff implications with the Fairly Odd Parents. Only a game below 500, and then Foster's Home trying to tie them up within conference. They'll be tied at 6-7, and obviously Foster's Home would have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So another game that definitely has ramifications. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so the reason why you're seeing overtime without any highlights prior to this is because it looked like the game was over. The Fairly Odd Parents were up 14-0. Foster's Home had like 2 minutes left. I was like, we'll just sim this. They like returned a kick for a touchdown, got the onside kick, and then returned that too, or something. Something happened really fast where they scored 2 touchdowns in like 10 seconds. But we're in overtime, and things are looking good for the Fairly Odd Parents. They are well within field goal range here. It is up. It is perfect. Fairly Odd Parents with a statement win. Mr. Crocker knocks through a 30-yarder. They win in overtime. Alright, next matchup, we got Aqua Teen Hunger Force, one of the best in the league, taking on the Muppets, another desperate team trying to keep their winning record alive. Alright, so this game, not even close. Aqua Teen Hunger Force in control all the way through. They win it 10-0. Alright, next up we got 9-3 Futurama, another great team in this league, versus the Ninja Turtles trying to pull off an upset. They looked like a team that could be a contender in this league, but the Ninja Turtles have just had a lot of unfortunate losses, so let's see if they can pull one out here. Alright, it looks like there is just not much fight left in the Ninja Turtles, but at least it's nice out in this field for once. They lose 24-0. Futurama shuts them out. Alright, last matchup of the 1 p.m. slate. 7-5 Rick and Morty taking on the 4-8 Smiling Friends. Kind of a must-win game for Rick and Morty because BoJack Horseman got their win earlier. I believe they're 8-5, so gotta keep up with them by winning this game. Alright, so it was close, but a punt return by Summer allowed Rick and Morty to win this one. It'll be 13-10. BoJack and Rick and Morty gonna have a fight for this division. Alright, next matchup, Pokemon taking on division rivals Hey Arnold. Obviously, Pokemon's season is over, but Hey Arnold, only a game ahead of the Rugrats, need to win this one, so let's see what happens. Alright, so Pokemon holding their own here against Hey Arnold. It's 2nd and 12. They're in field goal range, 1:15 left. Pikachu gets the handoff. Hey Arnold takes their second timeout. Up, it is good, so Pokemon will go ahead. Hey Arnold has no timeouts, but only needs a field goal to tie it. Here comes Arnold, down 3 from the 20 with a minute to play. Wide open is Grandpa Phil. Grandpa Phil might be gone, and just like that, Pokemon loses their lead. This is why this is a 2-10 team. 3rd and 10 for Pokemon. They can use the middle of the field. They still have 3 timeouts. Ash throws deep. Oh, it's picked off by Palomalu, and this game is over. Hey Arnold gonna get the victory here, 21-17. Alright, next matchup. Powerpuff Girls 2-10 taking on Bob's Burgers, a must-win game for Bob's Burgers to keep up with the rest of their division. Down 7 in jeopardy here to a 2-10 Powerpuff Girls team. They have had a few upsets this year, but Bob's Burgers in a must-win situation. This one falls incomplete. They're 6-6. I believe they're in the division with Rick and Morty and BoJack Horseman, who are ahead of them. Pile up on 4th down. Here we go. He looks for an open man, scans the field, can't find anybody, finally gets a pass off. Oh, Hines Ward drops it, and it's a 1st down for the Powerpuff Girls. Now, Bob's Burgers have 3 timeouts, so we'll see if they can stop the Powerpuff Girls, but they're also in field goal range, so just an all-around disaster. Kick is up. It's perfect. Powerpuff Girls are gonna win this one, and a huge loss for Bob's Burgers. Alright, next matchup, another pretty big game, really big for this division. 6-6 Chowder trying to catch up with the 7-5 regular show. Should be a good matchup. Alright, regular show, likely gonna win this division. They take care of business here easily. Chowder with a late touchdown to make it look close. Regular show wins it easily, 21-16. Alright, next matchup, another really huge game with playoff implications. South Park taking on Family Guy. Both of these teams at the bottom of their respective division, but each still have a chance of maybe the last wild card slot. So, this is a huge game. South Park desperately needs to win. Family Guy would be in a lot better shape with a win here, so huge game for both of these teams. Alright, so South Park was in control of this one. They were up 10-0, but Family Guy slowly marching back. Let's see what Peter's got on 2nd and 10 from his 33. Looks like a completion, but only a gain of 1. Family Guy keeping the offense on the field. I feel like this is just what you have to do in this situation. Down just 3. Peter looks around, throws, it's caught by Brandon Marshall. Did he get there? That is really close, and they say he didn't by just inches. Man, that looked like the Rams-Titans Super Bowl when he tried to reach the goal line. He couldn't make it, but South Park takes over, and they're trying to get a 1st down to end the game. Kenny McCormick with a couple broken tackles, but can't get past the last guy. It's a loss of 2, and Family Guy stays alive for now. 2nd and 12 from the 44-yard line of Family Guy. Kenny McCormick, will he get the 1st down? He's gonna end it in South Park. Actually, it's not going to be over yet because he stepped out of bounds. Inside the red zone now, right at the 20, Kenny McCormick. They're just going to keep feeding him, and is he going to get in? He's going to be 5 yards short, but that is going to end the game regardless. They can take a few knees and end this thing. What a statement win by South Park. Alright, I love this time of year because every single game has playoff implications. Now, Hey Arnold won their game. Otherwise, this would be a lot more meaningful for the Rugrats, but they absolutely need to win this one to stay in contention in that division. Meanwhile, the Simpsons at 10-2, arguably the best team in the league. Gonna be a tough one for the Rugrats, but we'll see what happens here. Alright, so the Rugrats really coming off as frauds. The Simpsons destroyed them 21-7, and that likely ends things for the Rugrats. We'll see what that does for Hey Arnold when we check the standings. Alright, next matchup, we got 5-7 Beavis and Butthead taking on 6-6 King of the Hill. King of the Hill trying to get back on top of this division. They were ahead for a while, fell off, and now they're starting to get back on the wagon. So a big game for them. Sunday Night Football. Let's see what happens. All right, so Beavis and Butthead maybe trying to make their own playoff push. This is going to put them at 6-7. They beat King of the Hill 14-3. Game of week 14. 8-4 Jimmy Neutron taking on 8-4 Looney Tunes. What an amazing matchup to finish up the week. We will of course check the standings after this because I'm sure there are plenty of playoff clinchings that have occurred this week. So we'll check on that after, but first, we got Jimmy Neutron versus the Looney Tunes. Alright, so Jimmy Neutron continue to look like true contenders, an absolute clobbering on a great team. They win 38-6 in one of the biggest blowouts of the year. Alright, so here we go. Here are the standings after week 14. Jimmy Neutron 9-4 leading the division. Only team that can catch up to them is the Fairly Odd Parents, so that'll be a great matchup if they do play again. I'm not sure if they played twice already. Airbenders clinging on to playoff hopes, trying to win out and go 9-7, and then SpongeBob, unfortunately, their season is just over. In the AFC South, the Looney Tunes still up by 2 games despite their loss to Jimmy Neutron. Only team even close to them is Scooby-Doo, who have won 2 in a row, so we'll see if maybe they can catch up to the Looney Tunes. In the AFC East, looks like the regular show pretty much have this one. 2 more wins and they're going to clinch. Chowder right behind them, but they just lost to regular show, so they're actually even further ahead than 2 games because of that. Foster's Home and Ed Nettie, their season is pretty much over. In the AFC West, The Simpsons and Futurama still fighting over this division. Futurama only a game behind. Meanwhile, Family Guy and South Park tied at 7-6. South Park just beat Family Guy, so yeah, this division's crazy. I have no idea how this is going to shape out by the end. We'll see what happens in these final 3 weeks. But yeah, really excited to see who finishes on top here. In the NFC North, the Backyardigans, from what I've seen, are the only team that have actually clinched a playoff spot at this point. I'm not sure why they didn't clinch their division because they've swept Dora, so even if they tied 11-5, the Backyardigans realistically should win this division, but Dora at 8-5, absolutely still in contention for a wild card spot, so they're looking good. Meanwhile, the Muppets and Sesame Street, their season is pretty much done. In the NFC South, still a 2-way race between BoJack Horseman and Rick and Morty, just tied at 8-5, gonna be really close here. And then these 2 teams, Bob's Burgers and Phineas and Ferb, they're 6-7, but they're still not out of it yet, just 2 games behind the top 2 players here. In the NFC East, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, with 1 more win, will lock up this division because no other team can make it to 10 wins. Meanwhile, Beavis and Butthead is now ahead of King of the Hill, and if Beavis and Butthead win out, they might be able to get a wild card spot, but the other teams make it really, really tough just because there's so many other good teams in the NFC. Finally, in the NFC West, Hey Arnold, I believe with 1 or 2 more wins will clinch this one. The Rugrats had a really bad loss this week, which puts things ahead for Hey Arnold. They pretty much have this one locked up, barring anything insane. So we will see. These are the standings. Just take a look at all of them here. You can see that the Backyardigans are the only team so far who've clinched a playoff spot, but I'm sure in week 15 we will know a whole lot more. Let's take a look at our statistics. Alright, so actually, Butthead has overtaken the league in passer rating. He leads the league with a 102 passer rating, and that is why Beavis and Butthead have had a bit of a resurgence late in the season. Meanwhile, Dora has overtaken everybody as the passing leader. I believe SpongeBob was on top. Now it's Dora. And our touchdown leader is also now Butthead, so he's low-key having a really great season. I don't think anybody noticed how good of a season he was having until now. And the interception leader is BoJack Horseman, but they are somehow leading their division, so that is just a crazy anomaly there. Don't even need to look at our rushing leader, we all know who it is. However, Bender has tied Tyrone for rushing touchdowns, so we'll see if Tyrone can hold the crown for that. He comfortably has the crown in rushing yards, though. And finally, receiving is Boomhauer, still our Triple Crown leader. I believe he is. Yep, 9 touchdowns, 866 yards, 61 receptions. There you have it. Alrighty, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in week 15. We are very close to the playoffs, and I cannot wait to get those started. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in week 15.